We. Ah, ah. Okay. So, wait. Yeah, I think I'm ready. Yay. Hello. My name is Hana. I am a sentient flower who likes Jose Muke, and continuing on from talking about A3. I will continue to talk about A3. Right now we are in, what is it? Part 2 of Act 1 slash Season 1 of the main story of A3. And for a little quick recap, I am talking about a game called A3 Addict Actors. It is a Japanese mobile game. It has multiple different types of media, an anime, some stage plays, actually a lot of stage plays, a lot of music, some small little web comics, and some movies based off of the stage play. In the last stream, I went over the characters, the prologue, and the first part of Act 1, which focuses on Spring, the Spring Group. This is about a theater company, which is broken up into 4 units, and last stream was about the Spring one, and also they're based off of seasons. This one, we're going to dive into the Summer Troupe, and this part of the story is called Kokufuku no Sama, or Summer of Overcoming / Summertime Survival. I am not sure if I should go over the characters because I would have to go all the way back in the beginning of the presentation. But I'm lazy. So, look at the wiki. Look at the wiki for some of the characters. I'm not going to explain it, my thought process. Anyway, so my description for the story is main character syndrome. Yeah, main character syndrome for the summer troupe. Now we continue on with the story. So we just finished up with spring, and their spring troupe is celebrating their final performance, and that they had a full house for their final performance. But now we have to move on for summer and preparing for summer auditions because they still have a lot of debt. They still have a lot of debt for the company. So they post the summer troupe auditions, and and it's funny because they actually got people to audition. People are actually interested in auditioning for summer troupe because for spring troupe, we had our main character, Izumi, had to go around Japan or Valuta Way to find all of her members. It was a nightmare, but it was fun. But for summer, there's people. Yay! And specifically, Izumi went and scouted Yuki and Kazunari because they worked for the spring troupe. Yuki worked for the costumes, and Kazunari worked for, what was it, graphic design? Yeah, graphic design. So she went and scout these two out, and they went to the auditions. And the other two people, we have Muku over here. He showed up because he really wanted to try theater, yet he's very shy, but he thought this would be a good opportunity to become more confident. And then we finally have Tenma Sumeragi. Why is that important? Well, it's because Tenma is a famous actor. He's like a child. What is it? His parents are famous actors, and then so he became an actor when he was a child, and now he's still an actor. So when he enters, you have Kazunari Muku all fanboying because, oh my god, a famous actor, and then you have Yuki, who is confused because he doesn't get it that Tenma's a famous actor. Weird, wild. So, and then they start kind of beefing, Tenma and Yuki. They start beefing. So Izumi try to put a stop to that, and they continue on to go with it auditions. Now they move on to the auditions themselves. And every time someone speaks, you have Tenma critiquing everyone. And it's not needed. It is genuinely not needed. Yes, we know he is a famous actor, but that's not needed. But he thinks because he's an actor, a professional actor, he can go and critique and put in his unsolicited advice. It's not needed. And throughout this entire thing, you just have Yuki telling him to shut up the entire time. These two just fight. They bicker. Actually, they don't fight. They bicker specifically. These two specifically bicker. Now, we go through the line of them auditioning. First, it's Yuki, uh, then Kazunari, then Muku, I think, or it's one of the two. But anyway, we finally get onto. Oh wow, I completely forgot that when they introduced each other. Oh my god, I'm stupid. Anyway, so when they do go introduce each other, these three, Muku, Kazunari, and Yuki, don't have any acting experience. While Tenma, he does have acting experience, but he doesn't have theater, specifically theater acting experience. And he said he wanted to try theater out to expand his skills or something like that. Yep, that is some foreshadowing for something. Yep, And then they get into the actual auditions. Yeah, Yuki and Tenma still beef with each other. God. So after after the whole audition things, Izumi says that Tenma, Muku, Kazunari, and Yuki are all accepted because there's no one else there and they need members to get rid of their dads. So she goes and accepts them all. And she goes and gives a rundown of how the company works, that the company is split up to 4 groups with 5 members in each of them. And they have dorms, but it's not mandatory to stay in the dorms. And that they need to put on a play in 3 months. Insane. But it's not as bad as spring where they had to put on a play in 1 month. With newbies. A month. But anyway, she goes and asks them if they wanted to dorm. Izumi asks the new summer troupe if they want to dorm. All of them say yes. And so she goes and asks specifically Tenma, Muku, and Yuki to contacts of their parents, so because they're minors, and so she can contact them to ask permission if they will let Tenma, Muku, and Yuki stay here. And it's funny because Katsunari goes and says, basically, yeah, I want to live with Suzaru. Yep, you totally do. Totally do, buddy. Totally do. That's great. So great. Anyway, we finally, where was it? We get into when they actually move into the dorms, and they're trying to figure out their rooming situation. Because Tenma wants to be all alone in a room. He doesn't want to have roommates, and so he's like, I want my own room. And which leads to Kazunari trying to find a roommate. He went and asked Yuki first, and Yuki said no. Asked Tenma, no. So he goes and asks Muku, and they become roommates. Muku and Kazunari become roommates. Tenma's like, I want a solo room, so I'm gonna choose this room specifically. I want room 203. And what happens with that is Matsukawa, the manager, he overhears them, and he tells the new summer troupe that, hey, you might not know this. You don't know this yet, but it is said, because we have the 7 Mankai mysteries, that room 203 is haunted. It is haunted, and you can hear noises, and even though it's supposed to be an empty room. This scares Tenma a little bit, but it makes everyone start wanting to go to the room to check it out to see if it actually is haunted. So all of them go to the room. All of them go to room 203. This entire time, Tenma's very scared. We learn that Tenma is scared of ghosts and ghost story type stuff. So he's like, I don't want to. I'm totally not scared. I'm totally not scared or anything. Nah. Now we move on to when they get to the room. Yeah, Masumi shows up. So all of them were kind of scared. And so Matsukawa brings Masumi to be a bodyguard for them. I don't know. He just brings Masumi. He's like, "Hey, Masumi, can you open the door?" So Masumi opens the door. They hear some weird noises going on, and so all of them are on edge. And when they open the door, we see that the room is not empty and is actually being lived in, and and the person who's living there is this purpley, I don't even know what type of hair color is that. What is that? Is that like a periwinkle? Like a purpley blue? I don't know. But this purpley blue haired guy with wearing a lot of yellow who likes triangles pops up and scares them. And he's like, "Hey guys, do you like triangles? Hi, you like triangles?" And they question this random guy in the room, and they're like, who are you? Why are you here?" And this guy answers, he is Misumi Ikaruga, and he snuck in the Mankai dorms. Yeah, he's a trespasser, and he snuck in and claimed a room and lived in that room for a while since when, like a month ago, like a month since Romeo and Julius, when they start for summer. I mean, not summer, for spring. Misumi was there when Spring Troop was practicing and performing. Okay, I guess. So, and we learned that Misumi also really loves triangles. Really loves triangles, so everything in his room is triangles. Yeah, he really likes triangles. Sankaku, 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 onigiri, ageru. Okay, anyway. And then you have all of them. You have Izumi, Masumi, Kazunari, Muku, Yuki, and Tenma discussing on what they should do with Misumi, because Misumi's a trespasser. What were they supposed to do with him? He's already living here. What can they do about it? But while they were talking, Misumi parkours away. He parkours away. He literally jumps off the walls, escapes, and parkours away and runs away. So the group tries to go and catch up to him and catch him, essentially. And where Misumi runs off to is he runs to the kitchen because he smelled someone making onigiri, and it was Citron making onigiri, so Misumi steals the onigiri. This surprises Citron a little because, nude guy, why are you here? Hello there. And so the group goes and catches up with Misumi. And Izumi notes that what am I saying? Izumi notes that Misumi's really athletic, and he could probably be a good asset to Mankai. So she asks him if he's interested in acting. He can stay at Mankai if he if he acts with them. And because of that, Misumi stays. Misumi's like, yeah, I'll give acting a shot as long as I keep my room and eat onigiri. Yep. We're just letting anyone in this company. That's great. We let anyone and everyone into Mankai Company. It's great. And while that is happening, you have Tenma and Yuki and Masumi. He's not in the photo, but you have the three of them being dumbfounded because Izumi is just letting this random guy who they just met stay at Mankai Company, who is a trespasser as well. So it's like, bro, what is happening? Anyway, because of that, Tenma has the option. Tenma and Yuki have the option to either stay alone or room together. So Tenma goes and suggests to Yuki that, fine, let's be roommates. And so Tenma and Yuki become roommates, and Misumi keeps his room. Yippee! Wow, my air con. Anyway, now we are getting to go into practicing. Yay! More practicing. So, because most of them are newbies besides Tenma, they start with etudes or ad-libbing. And we first start off with Yuki and Muku, who they act as high school girls chatting and being bored. Then you have Kazunari and Misumi, and everyone is very questioning on how Misumi will do with the acting. And it turns out Misumi is actually really good at acting and following the story and following along, going with the flow and ad-libbing. They figured that out because Kazunari does a etude about being an actor and how he's late and he's not on schedule. And then you have Misumi. Then you have Misumi. Oh my god, what is that? Then you have Misumi. He is his manager, and he acts like a manager. He goes and tells Kazunari, stop being late. You have a schedule. Come on, keep up. And that made everyone surprised. So after that, you have Tenma and Misumi doing a etude. Yeah, you have Tenma and Misumi doing an etude, and it's them fighting and being siblings or something like that. I didn't put it in my notes, but it was really good. It was a really good ad-lib between the two. And along this, they have to decide who is the leader for their group, because they need a leader. For all of the groups need a leader. And they ultimately decide Tenma to be the leader because he has the most acting experience out of all of them. Yay, fun. Now we move on to them starting to have ideas for the play, and they go in, and Suzaru comes in and is like asking all of summer, what do you guys want to do? I need ideas to write the play, so what do you guys want to do? And he specifically asks who wants to be the lead, and they all say they want to be the lead, which makes Suzaru a little confused and a little worried, because how is he gonna write a play and have everyone have the spotlight? But he figures it out. He eventually figures it out, and once again goes and becomes sleep deprived to finish his script. And the new summer troupe wonders, is he okay? Because they haven't experienced this. So they're all like, what the heck? Why in the world is he dying over there in a corner? But that's just Suzaru. He just overworks himself when it comes to scripts. He really likes writing, so he goes and takes a lot of all-nighters. Anyway, so Suzaru shows up very sleep deprived, and he finally finishes the script. And his script, the new summer play, is based off of the 1001 Nights story. I'm gonna give a disclaimer on that. Yeah, you know how every mobang has their Orientalist event. Yeah, this is part of the main story. They made it part of the main story because it's an adaptation of 1001 Nights. So take this with a grain of salt. Take Summer Troop's first debut, like take Summer Troop's debut play with a grain of salt. I'm just gonna say that it's mainly about comedy, but just take it with a grain of salt. Anyway, moving on. So we have our roles, and each of them have their own. Blah, 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 blah. They have the spotlight at some point in the story, in their play. So you have Tenma, who is the lead, also the leader of the group, leader of the troop. So he becomes the lead. He is Alibaba. You have Yuki, who is the co-lead, and he's playing Scheherazade. You have Muku, who's playing Sinbad. You have Misumi, who's playing the genie of the lamp, and then you have Kazunari playing Aladdin. Yeah, take this with a grain of salt. We love Summer Troop, but at the same time, we have to take it with a grain of salt. Take this with a grain of salt. Anyway, moving on. So a little time later, time goes by, and you have Izumi and Muku getting some groceries. And Izumi notices that Muku's pretty strong, and it's like, are you athletic? And she goes and asks Muku, hey, you're pretty strong and athletic. Did you do anything? And Muku does answer, and he said he was part of his track and field club. And he was the sprinter, or their ace, the team's ace and sprinter. And he only became part of the track and field club is because he wanted to be a shoujo protagonist. Yeah, Muku really liked shoujo, and so he became a shoujo protagonist. He wanted to be a shoujo protagonist, so he was part of the track and field club. But unfortunately, he got injured at one of his meets, or just he gets injured. His legs get injured, and he had to stop track and field. And that kind of crushed his dream to be a shoujo protagonist for a little bit. Then he found a new dream in theater and started dreaming to become a prince. It's still being a shoujo protag, but specifically a prince. And with that, Izumi goes and encourages him to invite his old teammates to show his hard work because he feels a little embarrassed that he's doing theater, but Izumi reassures him and saying like, hey, you're doing great. You are improving so much. I feel like your track and field group would be proud of you as well. So please go and invite them to the play. As you see, I put there, I'm embarrassing for Muku. I'm embarrassing, but you have Izumi saying, be proud of yourself. It's very cute. Very cute. Now, once again, some more time goes on. They do a read through, but there's a lot of misreads, and Tenma keeps critiquing them. He keeps on interrupting them whenever they mess up, and you have him continuously telling everyone sucks. All of you suck. And because of that, everyone kind of gets pissed off with Tenma, and Tenma gets pissed off with them because he's like, why are you being pissed off with me if you're bad and we need to be good? But they're pissed off at him because they are trying to get better, but he's not helping. So you have this mutual anger for both the group and Tenma, which leads to Tenma storming out of practice, ending practice, and him going to the courtyard, and Tenma feels that everyone is mad at him, and they suck though. But Sakuya goes and finds Tenma outside, and Sakuya goes and asks, what's going on? What is going on? So Tenma asks Sakuya, how was he able to lead spring? How did you do? So Tenma goes and asks Sakuya how he dealt with spring troop. Did spring ever had these problems, or what happened? And then Sakuya goes and explains that he didn't really do anything, that everyone kind of did their own thing, but somehow they were able to come together by sleeping on the stage together and bonding. So Sakura goes and tells Tenma that he thinks bonding will help make the team, make the troop become closer and better. Tenma doesn't really understand this, but he's like, if it works for you, maybe it works for me. Maybe it works for Summer. So Tenma goes to the director and tells her that Summer should sleep together. Izumi gets a little confused on why he just straight up says, let's have a sleepover. And then she realizes, oh wait, he's just trying to have everyone bond together. And so she agrees. And now Summer is on a bonding trip. Summer will go on a bonding trip. So we are at their bonding trip and they go to a summer home. I don't know whose home it is, but it's a summer home. And they do at the summer home, it's their training camp. And there's a funny little moment before this. There's a funny little moment before them getting to their training camp, and it's that before leaving, you have Masumi wanting to go tag along with Summer Troop, and you have Izumi, Sakuya, and Suzu trying to tell him no, and you have Suzu and Sakuya trying to hold Masumi back from going to the summer trip. Like they're holding Masumi back. They're like, okay, go, please go. We got him. We're holding him down. Go. Anyway, so they're going and practicing at the training camp. They're once again still doing run-throughs, and now when someone's making a mistake, Tenma is calling out, but at the same time he is giving some critiques, so that's a little better. So at least Tenma's kind of being constructive. It's still not helpful, but hey, it's better than before. And it's kind of, what is it? It was like targeted at Yuki because Yuki wasn't understanding the thoughts and feelings of his character, Scheherazade. Then you have Muku, who chimes in and says, hey, I read the original source material, and your character, Yuki, Scheherazade, she is actually married to the king, and he goes and kills his wives after their wedding day. And that helped Yuki change his perspective on his role. So now he has a better understanding of his role, and we'll go to Muku to ask for more clarifying details. Yay! And we learn more that Muku's very diligent and a nerd, a big book nerd, because somehow he reads the entirety of the 1001 Nights. I don't know when he had the time, but Muku had the time to read the entirety of that story. Bro, okay, I guess. Then we move on. After practice, Izumi has them cook together for some team bonding. And specifically curry. And they all groan and sigh because they're like, dang it. Seriously? Because it's the only thing they're eating whenever they're with Izumi. It's the only thing they're eating is curry, but whatever. If that's the only food they got, it's the only food they got. And while this is happening, you have, once again, Tenma and Yuki bickering and fighting each other again. Tenma specifically nitpicking Yuki about rice and washing rice and the type of rice they're eating. And it gets a little too heated, so Kazunari steps in and says, like, hey guys, can we just all be friends? We shouldn't be fighting, please. No. And this ticks off Tenma, and he goes and says this. As if I take advice from some fake who kisses everyone's ass, to form some shallow wannabe friendships. Like, Tenma, I get it. You're frustrated at this moment in time, but you didn't have to say that. You did not have to say that to Kazunari. You did not have to say that. Kazunari just wanted to be a peacemaker, like, peacekeeper. Yet you had to go and call out that. Oh my god. Why did you say that, Tenma? Literally, everyone gets so shocked that they just stare at him. They just stare at Tenma, and Tenma goes and runs out. He runs outside because it was a little too intense. Too intense. It was an intense moment because, bro, when I read that, my god, that was so intense, bro. Anyway, so Tenma's outside. Izumi goes after him. Yeah, goes after him to give him dinner because the rest of Summer Troop finishes up making the curry. And so Izumi assumes that Tenma might be hungry, so she goes and tries to give him the food. And Tenma tries to reject the food, but Izumi goes and tells him that he has no way of getting to a convenience store. There's no convenience stores. You don't have a car. You might as well eat. Might as well eat the food that they have right now. And with their time, and with this moment, excuse me, Izumi has a talk with Tenma. And basically she goes and tells him that he needs to look out for this group and give them constructive criticism, specifically constructive criticism, because she knows that he wants them to do their best. It's just how he's going about it is not fun. It's not fun, but it's more damaging rather than helpful. And through this conversation, Tenma does start to talk about everyone's strengths and weaknesses that he has noticed, and that makes Izumi happy to hear because she can tell that he is a good leader, he just needs guidance. So you have Izumi telling him to apologize and give proper criticism to the rest of Summer Troop during their next practice, or then whenever he has the time. So, for their next practice, Tenma goes and apologizes to everyone. This, it's kind of funny because in the moment, he's like, Tenma is like, I'm sorry. Okay, that's it, let's go and continue on. And you have Yuki looking at him and thinking, and outright saying, that's it? That's your apology? Really? But everyone goes and accepts his apology. And when they're practicing, Tenma points out their problems, but he does give them advice. It does, and then everyone starts improving. It's really good. Oh my god, Tenma, you're not being annoying. Yay! It's wonderful. It's great. And because everyone's on good terms, they go and celebrate. Also Matsukawa's here. I don't have him in the photos, but Matsukawa's also here. And because everyone's being all happy and stuff, Matsukawa goes and brings some fireworks for them to play with. I don't know what the laws are about fireworks, but they got some non-lethal fireworks, I guess. I don't know. But Matsukawa gives them fireworks to play with. And it's funny because Tenma shares that he never got to play with fireworks or go on summer trips as a kid because he was always working as an actor. And you have Muku, Yuki, Misumi, and Kazunari all teasing Tenma on how he hasn't really experienced summer. And that they kind of convinced Tenma they're really, really dangerous. The fireworks are really, the ones that they have are really dangerous. So when they set them up and set them off, you have Tenma telling them to get down and being all scared, and they're just teasing him. They're like, haha, you fell for our trick. Haha. Haha. Oh my god, Tenma. I can't believe that you fell for that. It's funny. Mizumi also does share that he has never been on a school trip as well, and it hints at him having some family problems. Yeah, those aren't gonna be addressed till later, very much later. That's foreshadowing. And at the end of their them playing with fireworks, they have Kazunari gets these specific fireworks. I forgot what they're called, but these are like rings and they're sparklers and they spin around on the ground. And everyone, you have Muku, Yuki, and Misumi being all panicked because these are the fireworks that you should kind of be worried about. And so they start running away, and Tenma thinks that they're joking with him, but no, they're not joking with him, and he kind of gets attacked by the fireworks. It's not lethal. It's not a problem. Though it was just sparks, but it scared Tenma. It's funny. It was funny. Very funny. Now we have a fun little moment with them bonding together with Kazunari. It's such a I laugh at this moment because it's just strange. I will say it's kind of strange because what are you doing, Kazunari? Why are you trying to tell the kids these random stuff? So what happens in this scene, event, episode, whatever, you have Kazunari. He goes and texts Izumi that he's done bathing. This confuses everyone on why he did that. They're like, why did you go and text her that? Are you just informing her that you're done with the bathroom and what? So Kazunari goes and explains that it is a flirting tactic so the other party can imagine you being sexy. He does say this. He's like, yeah, anyway. And he convinces the rest of summer to text Izumi that they're all so done with the bathroom. And so we get the POV of Izumi on her end, and she starts getting these texts, and she's like, oh, okay, they're fine. They're done with the bathroom. Oh, okay, I guess. What? She was mainly confused about the whole situation, but she's like, I'm just gonna go to the bathroom. They're weird, I guess. Anyway. So after that, lights out. They're trying to sleep. And then Kazunari, he's still awake and goes and asks everyone if they're awake. So they go and wake up. And so Kazunari asks any of them if they have any girlfriends. Yeah. Yeah, he goes and asks them that. And all of them say no. Like, what the fuck? Like, why are you asking them that, Kazunari? And Tenma's 16, which is it's like an okay to have a girlfriend, a partner, but he's also an actor, so that could be taboo. Yuki and Muku are 14, and they go to an all-boys school. I don't know if they're able to find girlfriends or boyfriends, but this is specifically talking about girlfriends. And then Misumi, he doesn't go to school, and he doesn't go to school or any college or anything. So why are you, Kazunari, why in the world are you asking them this? I don't know, but that's Kazunari, I guess. So Kazunari goes and suggests that they all go to a mixer sometime. You have Muku, Misumi, and Tenma who are kinda interested. Yuki straight up rejects the idea. He's like, no, please no. And Kazunari goes and implies Yuki would be popular. I'm not sure popular to whom. Maybe because the next Yuki's response makes me think Kazunari was implying that Yuki would be popular with guys. I don't know what the intention was. Like, clear, I'm not so well versed on that. But what Yuki responds with is he tells Kazunari that he's into girls. I said that girls anyway. That Yuki tells them that he's into girls, and so don't go around thinking weird shit. Okay. And for some reason, and then on top of that, you have Tenma for some reason responding to that statement and being like, I wasn't interested in you. Like, you were never, like, one of the people I was interested in. Bro, you did not need to say that. Tenma, you did not need to say that you were not interested in Yuki. Like, now that makes me think that you were interested in him. Like, what? What the heck? Why did you say that, Tenma? And then they start wondering about what Izumi's type is. I don't know. They were just bonding and being silly. I'm putting so much emphasis on this scene because it's just so funny to me. And it does get referenced later on. Anyway. We go back to the Mankai practice room and dorm. And Yuzo drops by to see how Summer's doing. And they go and perform for him and show them how they're doing. And they aren't bad. They aren't bad, but there's some things that are lacking. Tenma, his comedy skills are lacking. Yuki is lacking in detail. Muku needs to speak up more. Kazunari needs to have more depth with his character. And Misumi has to lock down his role, like, solidify his role. Like, Misumi's good, it's just he needs to solidify it. Whatever that means. And on top of that, Yuki finishes the costumes and Kazunari finishes the promotional graphics. Everything's fun. Yay! Everything's going on track. Yippee. And while they're at it, while practicing and stuff, oh wait, actually this is a different practice day. So Sakyo drops by and lectures Izumi about how to get more engagement for people because sales are eh, and he leaves after his lecture. They all just kind of look at him. Or Izumi just looks at him and is like, oh my, okay. He really cares, question mark? I don't know, but okay, I guess. Anyway, Kazunari and Matsukawa. Actually, earlier, I forgot to mention this. I don't remember when, but they found a old tape of the summer troop practices, and they've been trying to figure out how to watch it or what device to use to watch the summer troop play practice. And finally, Kazunari and Matsukawa are able to show it. So they bring up a projector, a screen, and they have everyone... Tenma, Yuki, Muku, Kazunari, and Izumi, and Matsukawa. They have all of them watching the old summer troop play, and they're practicing and all the other stuff on that tape. And while they were watching this, they had this whole feeling of this bittersweet feeling because the old summer troop was very good, from what they can tell. Is that they were very good, but then they realized, wait, they're not here. They left. So that makes them a little concerned on if any of them right now, the current summer troop, if any of them are leaving. But they promise for now. I'm not saying, okay, no, that's doubt. Anyway, but they do kind of promise that they'll stick together, which is cute. But also we learn in this summer troop video, this summer practice video, that there's a kid with blonde hair and glasses and two distinctive moles under his eye. And that but like that makes Izumi a little pays attention. He's like, huh, this kid reminds me of someone. I don't know who, But this kid reminds me of someone. I'm just gonna keep that in the back of my head. I wonder who it is. Anyway, so this is the warning I was talking about earlier. Warning. Orientalism, I guess. I don't know. I'm not well versed on that, but warning. Yay. We see their costumes for the first time. This is what they look like. And this is specifically because it is time for their photo shoot. It's time for photos. And we're introduced to Ami Fushimi. We love Ami Fushimi. And how we get introduced to him is because he is someone Suzuru knows. Suzuru knows Ami from uni. And Ami is like, yeah, sure, I'll go and take the photos. Sure. And after they're done with the photos, Ami goes and asks Izumi if he could check out the theater itself, and she agrees. And they're kind of just looking around the theater, and you have Izumi going and asking if Ami's interested in theater. But he kind of works around the topic, saying he kind of is, but not really, but kind of is. But overall, she goes and gives him a gift. She gives him a play ticket for the final day of the summer true play. And that's just a gift saying like, yay, this is for your hard work. Please go if you want to. Don't go if you don't. I encourage you, but we encourage you to go, please. Which is great. It's fun. And later on, you have Kazunori updating the website for the new summer true play. And Tenma asks for him to take down his name. Take down his photo and his name. Which is weird because he's the lead of the play. But he goes and says that I want to do this on my own. And I'm a famous person. So if my name is attached to this, people are just going to go just because I'm a famous person, not because of the skill. And that confuses everyone because they think that it would actually be good for them. But for Tenma, he just wants to prove his skills. But anyway, Kazunori complies and he takes Tenma's name and photo off the website. And because they need to continue with publicity, they go out in the little way, giving out and handing out handing out flyers. Yeah, and they were handing out flyers. We have Yuku and Muki. What the fuck what did I just say? Yuku? Muki? What the heck? So you have Yuki and Muku. They are handing out flyers. That's when they see Haruto and Tasuku doing a street act. Yeah. And they were doing a street act, and Haruto So Haruto, he does some fan service to some fans. He kind of picks up a fan's hand and kisses it, and they're like, "Oh my god, Haruto! Oh my god!" And Yuki goes and comments on that, and being like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe you're doing fan service to get fans to go to your play. I can't believe that. Oh my gosh." And Haruto then tries to pick a fight with the two middle schoolers, two 14-year-olds. This 25-year-old man is trying to pick a fight with two 14-year-olds. Why is he doing that? I don't know. But then, before he actually does pick a fight, we meet Reni Kamikizaka. He shows up. And he questions, what is going on? And so Muku goes and, what is it? Yeah. Muku goes and hands him a flyer. And Reni looks over it. He's like, oh, which company are you from? Yuki doesn't really say it. But Yuki's like, oh, we're from Mankai Company. And once Reni finds out that they're from Mankai Company, he kind of gets mad. He rips up their flyer and walks away. Which is weird. Really weird. What does Reni have beef with? Why does he have beef with Mankai? We don't know. He just had beef with Mankai. Anyway, they walk away, and then Yuki and Muku start going somewhere else to hand out flyers. Oh my god, not this scene. Oh my god, this scene. This scene, yeah, this scene is rough. I'm gonna say that this scene is rough just because it deals with some things, bullying's to be exact. So while passing out flyers to people, what was I gonna say? Anyway, while passing out flyers, some people from Yuki and Muku's school spots them, and then they start bullying Yuki. So we have this kind of interaction. It's like, OMG, is that Yuki? It is. You still dressed like a girl? Oh, it suits you. This line. Oh my, it was something along the lines of this. Of might as well go all the way. Might as well change your gender. That threw me for the loop when I reread that. I was like, oh wow, okay, great. We really seeing that toxic masculinity and transforming anywhere. Yeah, I hate these guys for like this moment, the specific moment. These two guys. Oh my god, horrible. Anyway, they continue on with their bullying, and they go and ask if they're promoting a cross-dressing cafe because Yuki likes to dress up in cute clothing. Who gives a shit? Yuki likes acting like himself and can dress the way he wants to. Stop it. But like Muku was uncomfortable and it's like we should leave, but Yuki kind of stands his ground and tells them that they're in a play, and Yuki goes and recites some lines from their play, and that intimidates these bullies, and they run off. Well, Yuki first goes and tells them, "Go and watch our play. If you're really that confident that I'm like this, go and watch her play. Go and watch her play. Go and watch her play." And so they run off. They go and run off. And you have Yuki and Muku having a moment. I cry at this. The CG for this moment. I don't want to spoil the CGs. There are some moments that I just recreated with the sprites. The CG for this makes me sad. That's all I gotta say. Because Yuki and Muku take a break in like an alleyway, and Yuki silently breaks down while Muku praises Yuki for his boldness and his strength for standing up against his bullies. And and Muku just praising Yuki, being like, "You're cool. You're very brave. You're cool." And Yuki just silently breaking down because he just is overwhelmed by what just happened. It's such a good moment. It really is such a good moment. The anime did a really good job with that, I will say. But it is so good. It just makes me cry. Anyway, we continue with the practice, and they still are on the verge of needing to sell tickets. Not on the verge, but they're still needing to sell tickets. And Kazunori tells them that he has already sold out. Like, he already has sold his tickets. And he's going, if anyone needs help, he will go and help if they need it. So, there's that. He knows a lot of people. Friendly McExtrovert. And then, while they're practicing, later on they go doing some practices, and during practice, they are deciding on what to do with the scene that features Misumi, because they're trying to figure out if that scene needs some action or tone down the action. They don't know what to do. And the group is split on the opinion of what they should do for Misumi, which falls upon Kazunori trying to make the decision. Kazu still tries to avoid tries to avoid the topic and hope that Izumi or Tenma can figure it out. And this pisses off Tenma a little. Like, this pisses off Tenma because he's like, you need to make a choice. You're please. But Izumi decides to push the topic away and just move on, because they can't move on if it is still up in the air. It's sad. So later on, Kazunari shows up to Izumi with the final poster design, but also talks about everything with practice. And Kazunari goes and talks to Izumi about his past a little. So he goes and tells her that in middle school, he didn't have that many friends. He's nerdy. He was a loner. So when he was in high school, he wanted to change himself. So he became more outgoing and friendly to just have friends. He didn't really care if those friendships were deep. All he wanted was just people to be around. Very similar to Itaru, but in a slightly different way, being more of a, what is it? Insider? Is that what it is? Yeah, I don't know. Something close to that, being an insider type of person, rather than Itaru just trying to go by through life. And this is what leads Kazunari to being a people pleaser, and why he's very hesitant on saying his opinions, because he doesn't want people to dislike him. So he built up this persona so people don't dislike him. And even though Tenma was harsh, he wasn't wrong that Kazunari needs to make a decision. And so, as I said, Kazunari is a little scared of being alone, and that's why he's a people pleaser. But at the same time, he really wants to make some deep connections with Summer Troop. And with this talk, Izumi goes and tells him that, hey, your opinion matters. You know you don't have to people please. So that really does help Kazunari be more confident in himself and be more open about his opinions to Summer Troop. So the next time when they have practice, the next day, Kazunari goes and tells his opinion to Summer Troop and how to fix Misumi's scene. And he goes and suggests that they should have an action scene for Misumi, because he's a very athletic guy. He can do parkour, breakdancing. The breakdancing thing is honestly only really in the stage play, because Misumi's stage actor in breakdance. And we always have a breakdancing. Anyway, so Kazunari suggests for Misumi to do some parkour in action, but at the same time, they should change up some other scenes to balance out all the action and stuff that's happening with Misumi. And they're like, oh my god, you finally have an opinion! Oh my god, that's great! Thank you, Kazunari, for actually expressing your opinion! Yay! That's great. We fixed that problem. Yay. Kazunari's people-pleasing problem. He still is a people-pleaser. It's just he's working on it. Yay. Next up, we are going to learn more about Tenma and his family and stuff. As you can see that this is not an actual... this is not like a PNG. This is a photo I had to take from my... I had to screenshot the sprite of him, because we didn't actually get a sprite of Tenma's manager till way later. So this is from way later, but this is what Tenma's manager looks like. Igawa. This is what Igawa looks like. He's adorable. He has brown hair, glasses, polite looking dude. Anyway, so Igawa, Tenma's manager, he shows up and tries to talk to Tenma. And you have Tenma trying to shoo him away, but Igawa reveals that Tenma's parents didn't approve of Tenma being in this the theater troupe, and that they want him to come back home. And Tenma thought they're always abroad, and he didn't really think much about it. And yeah, it was a little. So it's a little. It's a little. Just because. What is it? His parents are kind of mad because what happened was that his dad, Tenma's dad, was mad that Tenma turned down a movie, and he goes and Igawa tells Tenma that he should prioritize the movie over a shabby play, and Tenma, he gets frustrated, but he goes home anyway to try and persuade his parents to let him to be in the play because he really wants to be in part of the play. Anyway, sometime later, everyone's you have all of Summer Troop plus Izumi. They're all just worried that Tenma's gone. He's been out for a while. Where is he? Is he good? And then Tenma comes. Actually, Tenma goes and updates his social media, his socials, and reveals that he's part of Mankai. And now they sell out. They sell out of tickets. So they think. So you have Summer thinking that it's all fine because he officially states that he's part of Mankai, so it's fine, right? Right? But then we have Tenma actually going back home. He comes back and bumps into Izumi, and he tells her that he did convince his dad to let him to do theater, but his dad was mad at him, and he did hit him. He did hit Tenma that be like, why did you go and turn down that that movie offer? But Tenma really does convince his dad that he wants to do theater. So while that happened, Tenma goes and tells Izumi his reason and why he joined Mankai Company. And it's because when he was younger, he got the lead of a school play, and he thought it would be easy because he was very much used to film acting, and he thought that this play would be pretty simple. It wasn't. Because when he got on his stage to perform, he blinked. He forgot all his lines, and he felt very humiliated. And that gave him some slight theater trauma, slight performing trauma, live performing trauma. So he would turn down any play offer when he grew up because he's scared that he would mess up. And because he's so used to in film that you can retake and retake and retake for the best version, but in theater you can't retake. You just have to go with it. And so Tenma was scared of ever being part of a play because he's a perfectionist for acting. And Izumi is hearing this out, and she goes and comforts him and tells him that it's all right. That it is all right, and he can work through his fears on stage with everyone. Also, that I was also... No, wait, that was later. I think it was later. Yeah, that was later. But no, she goes and tells him, like, it is fine. You have people here to support you. That it's completely fine. Don't worry too much. Don't worry too much. You have people. So the next day, Tenma goes and tells the rest of Summer Troop about the whole play thing, on how he has some stage fright. And they all accept that. And they're like, okay, we're here for you. And so, Tenma, we're here for you. We're still going to do the play, right? But we're here for you. Tenma's... Wait. I'm going to drink some water real quick. Blah. So, Tenma, he's still scared of what will happen again, but everyone reassures him that they are there. No matter what, they are there. And Misumi gives him an emotional support traffic cone. This makes everyone like, why do you have a traffic cone? But then you remember that Misumi likes collecting random triangular objects. He just gives him a traffic cone. I'm sorry, it's really funny. He just gives him a traffic cone. Triangle. So at least they're more bonded together. It's really cute. It's really cute. Now there are many reporters calling Mankai Company to be a part of their public dress rehearsal because Tenma Sumeragi is part of a theater troupe. Might as well look at how he's acting in that theater troupe. Oh my god. And so there's a lot of that commotion. Yuzo and Tetsuro drop by to see how Summer's progressing. They're pretty doing well. And during that whole practice, Yuzo comments on Misumi and how similar that Misumi is to his grandfather. What we learn is that Misumi's grandfather was a legendary playwright and who wrote all of Mankai's plays. It's cool. Really cool. That is very much some information that is needed for future acts, future seasons. And later on, we have, while Izumi is making onigiri, Misumi shows up. Slip of the tongue. And Izumi goes and asks Misumi about his grandfather, and Misumi goes and tells her that he would watch old Mankai videos with his grandfather, and that Misumi has this specific triangular ruler that he cherishes and is a good luck charm to Misumi because his grandfather's dead. And so he has this good luck charm to remind him of his grandfather. Aw, it's so cute. And Izumi goes and asks if Misumi thinks his grandfather would be happy that he joined theater, and Misumi does think his grandfather would be happy because his grandfather would always tell Misumi that theater is fun and that he should do it one day. It's really cute. And then it reminds me of Captain Sky Pirates. Captain Sky Pirates, honestly, any play event story with Misumi makes me cry. Moving on. We're finally at their dress rehearsal, and it doesn't go well. It doesn't go well because you have all of summer worrying about Tenma's stage fright because there's so many reporters and people. It was a lot. And Tenma didn't play his role confidently, and he forgot some lines, and everyone is all off. Summer tried their best to support Tenma, but they're still worried for him. And then they go and see the articles about their dress rehearsal, and they were bad. It was really bad. Their dress rehearsals were like bad. And all the reporters are like, "Oh my god, is Tenma bad? Tenma's theater debut sucks?" ? So, what the heck? That was a spoiler. Anyway, so after their dress rehearsal, everyone is really worried about Tenma, and he wasn't saying anything. And Izumi goes and finds him rehearsing his lines in the theater, specifically the ones that he's forgotten. And once again, he feels humiliated, but Izumi reassures him that it is fine to be bad. She was really bad. She was a bad actor. It was so bad. She's like, it was so bad. She tells him, I am a really bad actor. For a play, I recited everyone else's lines besides mine. I pulled down the pants of one person. I said the wrong words. That's what Izumi did. But besides her being a bad actor, she got the audience to laugh and have fun. And so she tells Tenma that he does not have to strive for perfection. He just has to do his best and make people smile and laugh because they're specifically doing comedy and that's what they should focus on. But overall, it's just if he's doing his best, he'll get through it. So Tenma is reassured and is happy that she is accepting of his fear. Like, she accepts him, and he's very happy that all of Mankai is accepting of his fears and his worries. Really cute. And finally, it's time for the play. It's so cute. Summer tries to Bester calm down Tenma's nerves, so they do a huddle. And it's such a strange huddle that they continue to do it throughout the rest of the story. I mean, I don't think they ever really mentioned that, but they definitely in the stage play, they mention that. They mention the whole huddle thing. But, so they put their hands on his chest to give him strength. It's just funny, because you just have Tenma standing in the middle with all these hands on his chest. He's like, okay, I guess. And they're ready for their play. And that says, Natsugumi Psycho, being Natsugumi's the best. Yay. That's literally what it means. Now we're on to the play. Yay! Yippee, the play! So, we open up with the story of Alibaba and Scheherazade. Alibaba wants to become really rich, and his best friend, Scheherazade, she goes and tells him that he can be rich if he goes and finds this legendary oasis. But he goes and cuts her off and being like, hey, what are the things I need? This kind of annoys her, but she's like, okay, you gotta find Aladdin, the magic lamp, and a genie. You didn't even let her finish her story, but okay, I guess. So, Alibaba goes and finds Aladdin, and he goes and asks Aladdin to help to find the genie's lamp. So Alibaba and Aladdin go and try to find the genie, but they go and encounter an evil wizard, and they have a fight with him. As you see, there is Alibaba got caught on fire, and there's a snake. So you have him asking for help, and then you have the genie popping up and saying, what is your wish? Aladdin goes and tells the genie that can you deal with the wizard and the snake? And the genie tells him that that's gonna go into cost you 2 wishes. So, and Aladdin's like, I don't care, just do it. And that gets rid of the snake and the genie. And so this leaves Aladdin with one more wish. Alibaba goes and tries to tell Aladdin that he should wish for information about the oasis, but Aladdin goes and asks the genie for him to go on a date with this girl that he liked. So the genie's gone. And Alibaba still needs to go and figure out where to find the oasis. So we move to when Alibaba meets Sinbad. And in this moment specifically, Tenma goes and forgets a line, but Muku goes and covers it up for him, and they continue the story. Really cute. What is it? We have Sinbad telling Alibaba that the legendary oasis paradise does not exist, and Alibaba not listening. It's like no. The oasis does exist. And he goes and continues on to try to find the lamp. So he is able to find the magic lamp, and he goes and asks the genie where it is. The genie goes and tells him, yeah, that the oasis, yeah, that doesn't exist, by the way. Yeah. Sorry, bud. The oasis does not exist. So, and this makes Alibaba sad, well, kind of frustrated, because why did Scheherazade go and mention the oasis when the oasis doesn't exist? So he goes and asks to go back to Scheherazade. So, when he goes back to Scheherazade, he goes and asks her why she lied to him. And so, yeah, he goes and says, why did you lie to me? And for her, she had to delay her marriage to the king. That's why she lied to him. Honestly, I'm not too sure why she did that. I mean, I don't know how lying to your friend prevents your marriage to another person. I don't know how that works, but it worked. That's where we are. Anyway, she goes and tells him that it was to delay the marriage. And he asks, like, why didn't you tell me? And she tells him, forget about it. Just go make yourself rich. She gets frustrated and leaves. So that just leaves Alibaba alone to contemplate his feelings about Scheherazade, and he's like, why didn't she say anything about being married off to the king and shit? And then he goes and figures out that he loves her, and now he really wants to help her. Yeah, he's like, I have to help her. So Alibaba goes and finds Scheherazade and uses his wishes. Yeah, Alibaba uses a wish to go to find Scheherazade because he still has the genie, right? And so she's like, "What are you doing here?" And this is his plan. He goes and uses his final wish, and asks, "Don't let Scheherazade marry the king." So the answer to that is that now they're married. The genie made Alibaba and Scheherazade get married. That is so she doesn't have to marry the king. Because she's married. She's already a taken woman. Whoop-de-doo. And while that happens, you have Scheherazade being just scolding Alibaba because, like, why you wanted to be rich? Why didn't you want to be rich? She goes and says, like, you could have been rich. But Alibaba, he goes and says, who cares about that? I say, who cares about that? If I can't have you telling me stories, yeah, totally. Like, if you can't be by my side, why should I be rich, huh? That is basically what went down. And yeah, he goes and tells her he doesn't care about the Oasis and that he can't sleep at night without her stories and like he can't sleep without her. This makes her a little flustered. Yeah, she was a little frustrated, but she's like, "Oh, okay, I see you, Alibaba. Okay, I see you." And so she then starts acting like a needy wife and asks him to get her some water, and then they do some bickering. It's like, what? And she goes and says, or should I tell the story about how 3-year-old Alibaba wet his bed? And then he's like, fine. And she's all happy. And we live happily ever after, and that was the end of Water Me. I forgot to explain that. I forgot to say that the story is called Water Me. Whoopsie, forgot about that. Anyway, that was the end of Water Me. That was so cute. It was really cute. Anyway, they do a great job on their first night, and Tenma goes and thanks Muku for covering up his mistake. It was really cute. And he also apologizes to Muku for being mean and critical at the start. Yeah. It was nice. It was nice. We move forward in time to their final day of performances, and everyone starts being nervous. Tenma's parents came to watch him. They're here to watch him. Muku's track and field team are there. The guys who bullied Yuki earlier are there. Misumi lost his grandfather's triangle ruler, and all of this makes Kazu nervous. So everyone's just nervous. And then Spring shows up and gives them encouragement and moral support, and they give him, I think Citron goes and finds the triangular ruler and gives it to Misumi. So everyone calms down. Everything's gonna be fine. It's all good and dandy. So cute. So they have one final group huddle. And Tenma thanks Summer for being friends and a group that supports him, essentially. And he tells them, I'm glad to stand on stage with all of you. And they do the Natsugumi cycle thing. Natsugumi cycle! It is cute. Now we get on some ad-libs from Summer. Yeah, the final play starts and Yuki is still nervous and almost messes up his lines. But Tenma starts ad-libbing to lighten the mood. Alibaba is like, why are you spacing out, Scheherazade? And she's like, why are you teasing me? Then with the moment with Kazunari, or Aladdin, it's such a fun moment. That Kazunari puts in his ad-lib about his flirty techniques that was mentioned all the way back in when they went to the summer training camp. Really cute. And you have Alibaba basically calling Aladdin a loser. He's like, "How is this loser Aladdin?" And Aladdin's like, I'm not a loser. I'm charismatic." And Muku puts in his little ad lib about how about the original source material, how Sinbad isn't really a sailor, but he's about a porter, and talking about the sailor named Sinbad. Like, the story of Sinbad is about a porter named Sinbad listening to the sailor named Sinbad's stories. Meta joke. Meta fourth wall break joke. So you have Alibaba asking him, like, "You're not a sailor?" Actually. Actually. That was okay. So that was Muku's moment. And for Misumi, he shows off some more parkour stuff and more action to show off his otherworldliness, essentially. And then we get the final line of "Water Me." Oh my god, it's a good one. It's a good line. So Shehadaga goes and tells her last little line of like, "Oh, or should I go and tell the story about a 3-year-old Alibaba who wets the bed?" He's like, "Fine, fine." Yuki was supposed to just end it there or laugh or something to end the story. But what he does, he goes and says thank you to Alibaba. And for this moment, it's more of a thank you to Tenma in general. And it was such a very cute and sentiment, like a very quick sentimental moment, but a cute sentimental moment. And this flusters Alibaba. No, it flusters Tenma. Almost makes him break character a little bit. But they continue on and finish the play. And they did it! They finally did it. All of their play run was successful. They had a sold out house. It was a great play run. So cute. Now, during backstage, Muku's old teammates go and congratulate and tell Muku how cool he was. The Yuki's bullies give flowers to him and are going to continue to see his plays and are now fans of Yuki. It's so cute. It's not, I'm not saying that's cute, but it's just like, interesting. And Muku's parents also watched him and are so proud of Muku, and also told Muku that his cousin was there. His cousin was there and he should go and look for him. But then they're like, "Oh, where is he? Where is he? Oh, okay, I don't know, he's not there." And Tenma's parents did watch the play, but they had to go and leave for their work. But they did tell Igawa to tell Tenma that they were impressed and they're completely fine with Tenma being part of Mankai Company. Yay! Everything wrapped up. It's so cute. And then after they wrapped up, Izumi remembers that Sakyo, well, not Sakyo, but Izumi remembers the boy in the old Mankai video, and she wants to confirm who it is. So she goes to Sakyo because she knows that man is there. She knows he is there. So she goes and confronts him and scouts him and asks Sakyo to join Mankai Company, because she tells them that she realizes that he cares about this company he's been part of this company and cares about this company and watching over the company, that he should be officially part of it. And Sakyo just says that whole thing about it. "Bro, just admit it. Admit that you like being part of Mankai and being near her. Oh my god." Yeah. So that was basically the end of summer, and we get teased for autumn. And we get teased with these two. Oh my god. This is how the ending of summer and beginning of autumn starts. You have Juza and Bonnery. Well, we don't know their names or Juza and Bonnery at first, but you have this brown-haired boy and this purple-haired boy. And you have the brown-haired boy trying to fight the purple-haired boy. Because the brown-haired boy hears that the purple-haired boy is undefeated. So they go and fight. What the heck? What the heck? Oh, right. I actually have more. So they go back to Mankai. They have a celebration to be celebrating the success of summer. So cute. And they're preparing for autumn now. And, what the heck? Why does it do that? What is happening? Anyway, cut to Rennie reading a review on Mankai, and he starts getting annoyed because Mankai is gaining popularity again. So he goes and calls Karuto to contact someone, to do something to Mankai. We don't know what's that gonna go. And all we know is that Rennie has beef with Mankai somehow. He's like, Mankai Company, you guys should stop. Ah! Anyway. And that was the end of Act 1 Summer. It was really cute. I don't know why I talked so much about that one scene with Kazunari. And the one scene Kazunari and the dating techniques, and then the scene with Yuki. I don't know why I talked about that. Actually, I understand why I talked about the Yuki scene. That one was a lot. Kazunari one was just funny to me. But anyway, thank you for watching and dealing with me explaining summer. Act 1 Summer. Now we're next week I'm going to go and discuss Act 1 Autumn. My favorite group. And as you can see for the teaser, stop fighting! Anyway, thank you for whoever was paying attention. Bye now.